Welcome back to the Make or Break shop. This week we're going to try to figure out what is the best way to stain a hardwood butcher block countertop. All right, so I've been working on this butcher block countertop. The thing is massive, 6 feet by 3 feet. I have the whole thing sanded down. I thought it was ready to go, and I went ahead and just got some stain from the big box store and started applying it. And it's looking really bad compared to the rest of this countertop. This thing is made out of maple. I'm trying to darken it up to match some other things in the client's room that I'm building. So a lot of these videos are about the things that I make, but in this case, we're gonna talk about the things that I break. In this case, it's the stain and what I've come up with how to solve it and to fix it, because I'm feeling this might be a pretty common problem for a lot of you guys out there. All right, so let's talk about some ways to fix that. First off, I was using just straight up normal stain. This is just normal stain you can get from the big box store. I'm gonna link to some videos down below with some suggestions on other products you guys can use. But in my case, this is just what I've got here, and so this is what I'm going to use. The biggest thing to start out is I did not do a great job sanding this. You can see there are a bunch of little cut marks from when I was using the hand plane. I just didn't do a great sanding job. And the big reason for that is I'd started at 120 grit and then worked my way up to 220. I didn't go further down. And I've always thought, I don't really get why you start at a really low grit. If you're just trying to get something smooth anyway, why not just jump to the smooth thing? So I've always kind of cheated that. And most of the time I've been pretty good because I brought the piece straight off the planer. But in this case, since it was so big, I couldn't run it through the planer. And I used a belt sander to kind of get it down. And those really deep scratch marks are showing through. So I'm gonna start at a lower grit and then moving to 120 and then to 220. The next step in the process is I am using pre-stain conditioner. This is wood conditioner. Since I'm using an oil-based stain, I needed to get a oil-based wood conditioner. And if I'm getting this right, basically the idea is that this is helping to even out the amount of stain that's going to absorb into your piece of wood by giving a layer between it. So I'm gonna do a coat of that and then come back and do wood stain. All right, so that didn't work. I just sanded this down for the second time. And now we're gonna move on to option number 3. I actually put this out to some of you guys online, and I got some really good feedback as well as doing some internet research. Actually, the Wood Whisperer, Mark Spagnolo, has some pretty good resources. You can check it out right there if you wanna see his suggestions, but this is what I'm thinking. So, it's blotching, and I feel like one of the reasons is because it's absorbing at different rates. So to keep that from happening, I'm gonna get a thicker stain. So I'm actually gonna be going with General's gel stain. It's actually coming from Amazon, so I don't have it yet. So in the meantime, I'm gonna set up a couple sections to test. So the first section we're gonna do, again, we're gonna be using this pre-stain wood conditioner from Varathane, I guess. And then I'm gonna go on top with the gel stain. Number 2, I've heard this from several people. I'm going to be using shellac, but what I've read is you can actually take this and then combine it with the same part of denatured alcohol. So cut it down and use this as a sealer on top so that it won't go in as much. So those are gonna be the 2 tests. Those are what we are going to try out, and hopefully this is going to work. If not, honestly, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. So this project has taken way longer than I initially thought because I've had to go through all these different rounds of sanding and staining and figuring out whatever is gonna work best. And I've been giving lots of updates to the awesome supporters I've got over on Patreon. If you guys would like to support this channel and everything we are doing here at the Make or Break shop, you can do that at patreon.com/make-or-break-shop, and there is a link right down below. If you guys already support, thank you so much. Couldn't do it without you guys. All right, let's get back to the build. All right, so we've put these down. I let it dry overnight, and I think we're getting pretty close, and we found something that's going to work. So the lacquer side is a little more splotchy. I think I could do multiple layers of the lacquer, but that pre-stain actually did pretty well. So what we're gonna do now is sand this off, and then we're gonna put the pre-stain on the entire thing. I think I'm probably gonna do a couple coats just to help it out a little bit more. But overall, this gel stain is working really, really well. So now we've got the pre-stain conditioner down, and we're gonna be moving on to the actual stain. This is a gel stain from General Finishes, and what I'm finding, because earlier it was really liquidy, really oily, we got a lot more blotching, so I've heard that a gel stain, which is a lot thicker, is gonna help with that problem. So the stain is done, and I let it dry overnight. And overall, it's a lot less blotchy than when I first started out. There still are some blotchy spots, some darker and some lighter spots, especially in this area. But I think the combination of going from 60 grit to 120 to 220, and then doing a pre-stain, and then coming back with a thick stain, in my case this is a gel stain. A couple other things people have recommended I haven't tried. I know Rubio Monocoat makes a pretty good product. I've heard especially doing things like this, so I would encourage you guys to check that out. So as you can tell, I'm not an expert, but I wanted to give you the results of the things that I tried. But I'd love to know any tips that you guys have found. So make sure and leave a comment down below, and be sure and check those out for any recommendations for the future. So this is actually part of a bigger project that I am working on, and you can check it out right there. I'll see you there in a second. And if not, there'll be some other videos you can check out right there. Until next time, go make or break something in your shop. See you guys.